Oh yeah, what's up, y'all? What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Maj 2 Ratio. Appreciate you everybody for tapping in. Y'all know how it go. Y'all know exactly how it go. We're a little early. You come in, hit the like button, tell us where you from, tell us what platform you watching this on. There's five folks in here. I mean six. I mean everybody in here should be hitting the like button, hitting the comments. I need the energy. We need the energy. Don't be talking all that shit on Twitter. And then when it's time to talk and support and boost the algorithm, then y'all get super quiet. Again, y'all, this is Maj Toure. Welcome. My name is Maj, the host, founder of BGM, founder of Solutionary Lifestyle. Obviously, you guys know we try to get 10 folks at the $20 level in the super chat. When you guys are doing the super chat to support the work, free firearms training, stop the bleed classes. Actually, I got a first aid kit over there that I want to show y'all real quick. But anyway, all of the in-person classes are free to all. Because of your donations, we try Monday through Friday to get everybody, every time to tap in, share the space all over the place, as well as 10 folks to donate to $20 level. That's $1,000 a week. All of that goes towards the work. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary if you want to donate directly. But we're going to chop it up about all of those things today. Today we're going to talk. Today's Friday, y'all. Wait, ain't today Friday? Today Friday, right, y'all? Yeah, Friday. I'm trapped in the RV. Rob, what's up? Point blank, Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's go. Share the space all over the place, y'all. Don't just be in this joint chopping it up. Let's spread it to the world. Y'all want me to stay free and independent talking this shit and continue to grow this thing? I need y'all help. Share the space. If you're watching it on Twitter, it's so easy on Twitter. Just hit the repost button. If you're watching this on Facebook, you got to do an extra step or two. But only two people. It's 40 people watching and 42 people watching. And nobody's telling me where they from. Come on, y'all. We know better than that. Y'all know the rules and the routine. Tonight, we're going to talk about this Donald Trump signing the executive order to get rid of the Department of Education. That's a huge win for libertarians. Huge win. I love it. And I'm so excited to have, when I get out the RV, again, guys, I'm trapped in this RV. I've been in here for about over a month now. I'm fundraising to buy the building, the Solutionary. I said, I'm not leaving. We made the decision. I just never said nothing about it. Yesterday was the first day of spring. And with yesterday being the first day of spring, it's about rebirth. And I was going to quit. I felt like quitting, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to stay in here. I miss my family. I miss my friends, but I got y'all. Monday through Friday, I got y'all. But anyway, when I get out of here, I can't wait to explain to all of my friends that's going to be bitching about, oh man, he signed an executive order to get rid of the Department of Education. The same friends that was talking about our communities is miseducated. I mean, their favorite album is The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. All of y'all talking about the Carter G. Woodson, the miseducation of the Negro. So we all know this, but now that Trump do it, now all of a sudden everybody gonna act like the public school system was giving out Harvard degrees every semester type vibe. And it wasn't. So I can't wait to get out and inform the people. And notice I'm not saying attack or argue and none of that shit. I ain't into that. I'm not attacking or arguing against nobody. Your argument are the positions that you take that you can verbalize thoroughly. And I can verbalize thoroughly why it's good that the fucking Department of Education is gone. And when I get out of here, I ain't gonna do it on social media. Because it's not the same like in real life. Shouts to my guy AR Ab. He used to say, if you're not familiar who AR Ab is, just Google him. Ab used to say, when you know, over the phone, you can't discredit a king. If you want to take a soldier stripes, you gotta come do it manually. So I don't want to do this online. I want to do it in person. But we're gonna read real quick. We're gonna read a few things. I'm gonna give y'all some breakdown of this situation. We're gonna go over the basis of this executive order, which I'm not a fan of executive orders. I think too many executive orders is almost like ruling by decree. We are a constitutional republic. However, when things are so fucked in the muck and mire and so entrenched, sometimes people use executive orders. Now, these things can be challenged, da 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 da. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. Um, you know, we're going to talk about highlighting some of the misconceptions of this order. We're going to talk about Trump's criticism of the what you call it, Department of Education. Trump ain't the only one that ever tried to do this neither. Reagan tried this. So we're gonna go into all of that. But real quick, let's read this real quick, guys. Trump signs order to dismantle U.S. Education Department. Okay. Donald Trump has signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education, fulfilling a campaign pledge and long cherished goal of some conservatives. Sidebar, it's not some conservatives. Okay? It's not some conservatives. It's libertarians have been saying this. And I got a video up. I was there at the Libertarian National Convention in D.C., front and center, when he was talking about it. You know what I mean? Libertarians made this happen. Angela McArdle made this happen. I want to be very clear, and I'm going to be transparent. Angela McArdle's a friend of mine. I respect her tremendously. She tapped out of the Libertarian Party. She did her job. Okay? She got Trump to the Libertarian National Convention. Between Angela McArdle, and I'm going to keep my name out of it because I've definitely made more black people and more urban demographics than anybody go into libertarianism. There's a few other people, but I'm going to keep myself out of the conversation for right now. Scott Presler, Angela McArdle, both are more responsible for Trump being in office and pushing towards getting rid of this Department of Education or starting this process than anybody I know. The libertarians that are in his ear have more influence over the scenario. Now, there's things that I want him to be better on, but we're not going to let good be the enemy of great, or however that saying goes. All right? So let me read some more. Accusing the agency of breathtaking failures. It's true. Breathtaking failures. The Republican president vowed to return the money it controls to individual states. Now, if you watch CNN or left-leaning media, they're not going to tell you that part. He's going to return the money to individual states. That's what he vowed, and that's what that order happens. Okay? That executive order, once it gets through. Quote, "We're going to shut it down as quickly as possible," Trump said. Although the White House acknowledged that closing the agency outright will require an act of Congress. The move is already facing legal challenges from those seeking to block the agency's closure, as well as sweeping cuts to its staff announced last week. Now, this where all of the people that talk that shit, that talk that our communities aren't getting the education that they should. Now, I want to be very clear. Most education is not funded by the federal government. So each state is going to be live or die by your own hand as far as your children's scores and tests and all of that. I think it's like 13% or some weird number like that. Every time there's a questionable number, they always want to go 13. I think it's some numerology happening. But anyway, there's always 13% of the population is black people. Like, which one is it? We've been at 13% for 1,000 years, or we having all of the babies out of wedlock? Y'all got to pick a lane. But anyway, this is where those people are about to start showing a contradictory hand. I posted earlier on X. And again, guys, it's 85 of y'all in here. That means we should have 85 comments. I want to know where everybody in here, what city you from, what platform you watching from. Hit the like button, share. Don't just be in here talking. Let's help with the shit, man. Share the space all over the place. Y'all know how I go. Monday through Friday, we do this every single evening. All right? But anyway, all of your friends that's been for years talking shit about the government schools, because that's what they are, right? Now, watch them do the 180. I posted earlier on X talking about the power of media. When the media got involved, let's say 2 years ago, all of the extreme leftists, less than 2 years ago, was all buying Teslas, talking about Teslas, all of the so-called liberals. And all of the people on the right, fossil fuel cars, gas gut, we ain't fucking with them electric cars. Elon gets in office and the media do the switch. Now you got liberals spray painting Nazi on the side of Teslas and turning their Teslas in for gas cars. I guess they not want to go green no more. And now people on the right that was just talking about gas and electric and shut down and lock down on your cars and kill switches and Teslas, now they're going to go buy Teslas. That's the power of media. So why am I saying it? I'm saying it in the same space. That same power of media that's telling you this is about to be a bad thing. All of the people that your friends for years that said, my friends too, that said, oh man, the education in our communities is getting, we 48th on the list or whatever number, 42nd. They all said it was horrible. Watch they do the fucking 180. Watch them. Watch them all do a 180. Oh, we need the Department of Education now. Y'all went from green and electric cars to burning Teslas and saying fuck everybody that got a Tesla and fuck Elon Musk. I guess fuck the green shit, to switching. And this is where y'all gonna see this on this educational component. And a lot of those people are not gonna be informed about what it actually is. They think he say it and it just happened. They think it's fucking the episode of The Office. He just declares something. I declare bankruptcy. I'm an Office fan. All right. But anyway, let's read a little bit more. Most U.S. children attend public schools, which are free and run by local officials. A common misconception is that Federal Education Department operates U.S. schools and sets curriculum, but that is primarily done by states and local districts. A relatively small percentage of funding for primary and secondary schools, about 13%, comes from federal funds. Most of the money comes from state and local taxes. Okay? Established in 1979, the department administers student loans and runs programs to help low-income students. Please stop. If you live in the hood and you got a public school education, more than likely it was a fucked up scenario. Please stop helping us. If you lived in a hood, stop helping us. Okay? It's wild. Let's take a little couple of, Base Capone says, I'm here on YouTube just to say, Maj, just to disagree. If you guys don't get that reference, at the end of most of the YouTube videos, when I give an amazing breakdown, I always know what some people going to say, Maj, it's going to be the opposite. So that's what he's referencing. All right. Big Rob, what's up? He says Camden City gets like 360 million and have the shittiest schools. Yep. I'm right up the street from Camden in Philly. Brian says graduating high school in 1979. I'm old enough to remember when the states competed for the honor of being recognized as being the best at educating our children. And you see where that's at. Okay. Yet Cherry Hill gets 28 million of schools are great because it's that local tax. Cherry, if you guys don't know, he's talking about Camden and Cherry Hill, which is right up the street from each other, and they both in New Jersey. One of them gets a whole lot of money from the federal government and the schools is shitty. One of them gets less money from the federal government and the schools are a little better, a lot better actually, because Cherry Hill is a more affluent neighborhood than Camden. I used to go to Cherry Hill Mall when I was may or may not got rid of the packs in high school, and I would get on a train, go to what was that train stop? Go to Walnut Locust, then get on the Patco line going across the bridge to Cherry Hill and get on a bus and shop in Cherry Hill and come back to Philly. All right. Base Capone says, if only the Department of Education has anything to do with educating children, and it doesn't. Big D, pause, says, why are people not understanding this corrupt department needed to be ended? It is. It does. Quentin from St. Louis. Hey, Quentin, you over there with one of our favorite supplement companies, First Form. Guys, I got a link for First Form. If anybody wants to get supplements, get them from the companies that I fuck with. I fuck with First Form. I fuck with Ambrosia Collective. I fuck with TigerFitness.com. I fuck with, you know what I mean? And I'll get you all a discount and all that other shit. So shoot me something after this. But anyway, guys. Established in 1979, the student loan thing, and they run programs. And Trump says Trump has accused it of indoctrinating young people with racial, sexual, and political material. Now, let me say this. Trump is somewhat correct in that. The sexual and political material, yeah. The racial shit, I'm gonna give some pushback on that. I think that some people got the game warped. They think when you're talking about African American history, they want to call that shit like DEI and woke. First of all, you're using the term woke wrong. That's number one. Number one, you're using the term wrong. So we got to start there. But outside of that, right? I can't rock with too much on Trump because like he be riding the wave of some of the lily white conservatives, whether he's aware of what they telling him or not. Okay? Tell all of the stories. Talk about fucking the Irish experience in America. Talk about the Asian experience, Chinese experience in America, because it's a salad. So on certain levels, I'm just kind of like, when it comes to that, right? Tell the fucking none of the fucking schools tell a story about the starving times where white people had it fucked up trying to make it in America when they came over here. Okay? It's just like, it's, come on, bro. Like, tell all of the stories. It's an American story. But I don't think that the hyphen is like a bad thing. So on that area, I give them a little bit of pushback. Okay? Just a little bit of pushback because you give Trump a little inch, pause. And then the Charlie Kirks of the world want to run with a fucking mile. And I'm not giving none of these lily white conservative movement motherfuckers any energy. Now, for those of y'all that don't know what I mean by the lily white conservative movement, I'm not saying that to be funny. The lily white conservatives were a faction of the Republican Party when or the so-called conservatives, right, or Republicans. Back in the day after Reconstruction, when black people were going Republican, and it was like Republican, we that. That's what black people were. The lily white conservative movement was a section of that literally tried to terrorize black people to not be Republican, right? All of the dumb shit, all of the bigotry, all of the whatever. Like I'm talking that was that was literally the name of the movement, the lily white conservative movement. And it's like fake patriotism, hiding your bigotry behind patriotism, and it's like the Matt Walsh, the comedian guy. I don't even all of them. Some of them they give that energy. Now again, I'm not saying that these people are anything. I'm saying they give that energy. So I don't give it none of that like support. I don't give it too much. I check that part, and that's where I'm never in they clicks. I don't fuck with they clicks. I go to wherever I want to go. If I want to go to CPAC, I'll get Matt Schlapp on the phone. If I want to go here, I'll go. You know what I mean? But like some of the pundits, it would be better for Trump to not stand so close. And if you notice, he hasn't been standing too close to too many of the conservative pundits, the neocons, this go around. Okay. He hasn't been, you know what I mean? He been hitting different platforms, to get in the Theo Vons, the Joe Rogans, not necessarily like the Charlie Kirks and shit, because those dudes is kind of corny. I'm sorry, they not really helping with conservative values and spreading conservatism and the Republican moves, or even telling the historical relevance. They don't even tell the story of Frederick Douglass. Because there's a little bit of bigotry there. So I want to be clear that y'all understand when y'all come to the Maj 2 ratio, you're going to learn some shit. We're going to chop it up. And if you didn't know, give me a show of hands. How many people didn't know about the lily white conservatives? Right? And it's not me saying it because I'm not, people be like, oh, Maj, you like racist. No, I'm telling y'all what this shit was called. Speaking up for your community, if you're in a white community, black community, Spanish community, that doesn't make you racist. It just means you're fucking telling what happened. If I lived in a white community, I would be standing up for fucking white issues. But anyway. That's what happened with the Lily Whites. And so some of that pushback I give to Trump, not necessarily because I think Trump is necessarily doing it, but I just don't give them other goofballs room. And they'll run with something that Trump say and try to act like it's, you know what I mean? Anyway, surrounded by children seated at desks in the White House on Thursday, Trump said, quote, the U.S. spends more money on education by far than any other country. Yet, he added, the students rank near the bottom of the list. The UNESCO Institute for Statistics said the United States spends roughly 5.4% of its GDP on education, which is higher than many countries, but not all. The department's budget last year was $238 billion, which is less than 2% of federal spending. The White House stated that his administration would move to cut parts of the department that remain within legal boundaries. The executive order is likely to face legal challenges, like many of the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the size of federal government. At the signing ceremony, Trump praised Linda McMahon, whom he appointed to lead the department, and he expressed his hope she would be the Secretary of Education. Now, I want to go to Linda McMahon real quick. Okay? Linda McMahon is literally Vince McMahon's like wife. You know what I'm saying? And let me see if I can find a joint real quick. But my point in saying this is, actually, before we do that, I want to read the actual executive order. I'll read that in a second. But anyway, guys, DP says, first heard about the Lily White movement from Sonny Johnson about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm telling y'all, it's weird when you learn about it, and if you see it, you could, that tangible thing that you feeling from some of these pundits. I'm gonna tell you, I feel it from Matt Walsh. I feel it from the farm dude. I don't know his name. He like a comedian too. Him. I feel it from the Malaysian, always down talking Americans that lives in Malaysia with the fucked up cleft palate. I feel it from a few people, right? And they got that energy that's just like on some other shit. So I don't try to get in room. Nerd Nash, what's up? How are you? Listen, guys, we need 20 folks. Listen, it's $20, y'all. We need 10 of y'all to super chat at $20. 200 for the whole night, right? Y'all got to support the work. But anyway, let's keep reading a little bit of this, a little bit more. But let me say this first, actually, though, y'all. I want to say this. The basis of this executive order is to dismantle the Department of Education, but it's not immediate closure. And I want, as y'all walk out about into the world, I want y'all to understand that people, extreme leftists that never really read executive orders, right, don't really get full context of a thing. They're going to say shit like, he's trying to attack lower class people. He know that's all the black people that go to the public schools. Sidebar, black Americans are the newest group of homeschoolers, which is even better. Okay? So they're gonna try to package this like it's an all-out attack on the black people to try to repaint them as racist. And it's not an immediate closure. It sets in motion the steps to dismantle it and send the money to different places. Okay? When we say we respect we respect the 10th Amendment. When we say we respect states' rights, when we say most of these schools get their money from local and state taxes, the federal government shouldn't have nothing to do with that. Give it back to the states. That's the same argument when people, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, and everybody's like, "Oh, they coming at women's reproductive rights." No, it's not. The federal government had too much control. The women in each state should organize under their representative assemblies and say, we want abortions or we don't. You put the power back in the hands of the people when you take it out of the federal government. Abortion was not enumerated in the fucking Constitution. Guys, this is why you should have everybody in here should have a fucking civics class. Like, let's stop playing, right? Base Capone says Steven Crowder has that energy too. Yeah, he get that energy off. He get that energy off. It's like douchebag-ish, bigoted type of vibe. And I just don't, yeah, I'm not a fan. I rock with y'all, the solutionaries, and we're gonna keep building our island. Okay? But me wanting to be on all of these people platform shit, I don't care. I'm stuck in the RV fundraising, but I like kicking it with you and my lady and shit like that. All that other stuff, I don't really care about. But again, the argument for limiting federal government and allowing states more control over it is an argument that everybody's had. But when they get it, again, we mentioned that power of media. When we get that power again, now the left goes, oh, because it's Trump. That's the power of media. Y'all was just saying, I will never buy an electric car. The right. I'm talking about the right now. I will never buy an electric car. Fuck electric cars. Fuck electric cars. You ain't gonna hit me with a kill switch. Da 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 da. Then Elon get in, and I was like, oh, we gotta have Teslas. I think I'm gonna buy one just because to own the libs. Like, come on, y'all. Like, so just be mindful of that. Okay. When they start talking that shit, remind them that we are down at the bottom of the list, and the states need to be more responsible for the information and the application of the information that the students are having. Don't say on one hand, oh, the federal government is trash with our schools. Then when we go, well, they only do 13% of the funding. So since they only 13% of the funding, what you tripping about? And if it shouldn't be the federal government because they got something to do with it and it's horrible, okay, cool. Then we dismantling it over the time. So it should be no issue. Right? Which one is it? You guys gotta have you tap into the show to make sure that you're getting the correct talking points to destroy their arguments. They're still Americans, but we got to destroy their ignorance. The general public don't even know the Department of Education. They are responsible for student loans, which is majorly. They're not majorly responsible for funding all public schools and primary and secondary schools. That's not what their job is. Okay? But a big part of their fucking job is the student loans. And ain't nobody, because the left was complaining about that. Oh, the student loan crisis. Cool. well, the student loan crisis is so horrible because the Department of Education was responsible for it, and they've been doing a horrible job. So they dismantle that, and they're going to restructure that to somewhere else. I gotta actually, I think that's a good place to go next, because I don't think a lot of people know that, and I got some information up here for y'all on that too. All right, that's the part that we got to start talking about. We have our job as solutionaries is to inform the ignorant. It's to inform the ignorant with right knowledge. It's not to argue or own the libs. The libs won't be libs if we inform them. And I'm not talking about the crazy ones that's way out there. Like, if you're the dude that, I don't know if y'all saw it on X, right? And my Instagram page. Make sure you guys follow me on all the social media platforms. I've been kicked off a few times. I'm going to stay on this time. On X, it's at Maj2Ray999. On Instagram, Big Daddy 2Ray. Okay? On my Instagram page, I posted, a thing about the people demolishing or attacking Teslas. And one dude was like reaching his hand in his butt and wiping poop on the Teslas and on the Tesla charging stations. I'm not telling you to talk to that extreme level of leftist. I'm not talking about that. But some people are leftists because they haven't been presented with the right information from a place of genuine, I'm not here to antagonize you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to antagonize you. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to present information. And most people don't know this. Trump says the Department of Education will no longer oversee student loans and special needs. All right? Bookworm, what's up? Bookworm says 30 people watching here on YouTube. Let's get the likes up. Scrapping Beauty says, you think it is okay to pardon student debt? Okay is a dangerous statement. Okay in the sense of that money's going to be funneled, that debt is going to be funneled back into the American taxpayer? No, I don't think that's okay. I also don't think it's okay for the Department of Education and the federal government being involved with, I think it's Fannie Mae or some shit like that, and damn near socializing the loans. Then, when they know that the loans are going to be backed by the federal government, that incentivizes them to raise the prices, overraise prices for student loans. That's stupid. I don't think that's okay. And then you get a 17, 18-year-old, and again, 18 they legally can, but now they in $100,000 worth of debt for a fucking grated cheese major degree. So I'm in between on that. Okay? But this is a step in knocking that out. Let's read, guys. Let's read a little bit. President Trump continued his push to unwind the U.S. Department of Education on Friday, announcing the management of the entire federal student loan portfolio and the department's special needs programs will be moved to other federal agencies immediately. Appearing in the Oval Office was Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Trump said, quote, I've decided that the SBA, Small Business Administration, now we're getting some people with business acumen involved, okay? Headed by Kelly Loeffler, a terrific person, will handle all of the student loan portfolio. We have a portfolio that's very large, Trump said. The federal student loan portfolio, which includes about 1.6 trillion in loans, 1.6 trillion, for roughly 43 million borrowers, is currently overseen by the Education Department's Office of Federal Student Aid, FISA. That office has been gutted by the recent raft of buyouts, early retirements, and last week's broad reduction in force. Get the fuck rid of it. All of bloated government, and now there has to be more jobs. Now it's almost like the Red Cross. You donate $100 to the Red Cross, 7 of it in Haiti might make it to the other 93rd is ate up between all of the shit in between. You donate $100 to BGM and Solutionary Lifestyle, you get classes, you get curriculums, and all of those resources are used for buying the building, so forth and so on. It's a difference. We ain't got a whole bunch of middlemen, but we got a small team, okay? So we need all of the support we could get. But anyway, it was not clear based on Trump's announcement how or if the remaining employees and expertise at FISA would be transferred to the Small Business Administration. I don't think it should. Fuck them. See, this is the problem. There's too many government jobs. That used to be a thing in hoods across America. I don't know if it still is. But that used to be a thing where people, oh, they got a good job. They work for the government. That's guaranteed. There should be no guaranteed job that's not based on how hard you work and the service that you provide and providing it at an inexpensive price to the consumer with customer service at the forefront. When you don't have that as the standard, then there's no incentive to make the product or service better. Okay? So people will go get a government job, do a half-ass job, but they know they're gonna be there for 40 years and collect a pension. That's why the fucking post office is lost $6 billion over the last however. There's no incentive. So when we, as libertarians or free market enterprise people or conservatives, are saying these things, we just going, yeah, get rid of it. And we're not explaining that to a moderate or a newbie that doesn't have the understanding that we have, that doesn't know that the student loan portfolio is 1.6 trillion in loans, right? And that's what the Department of Education was majorly overseeing. And then you can connect with them because they go, yo, there's student loan problems. Then you explain to them, well, when government got involved with backing the loans, they just raised the price and the university just kept raising the price. Then they go, huh? So they start, you educate. That's why y'all fuck with me. My job is to simplify it for y'all and make it palpable because y'all not going to believe this. Some of y'all might not agree with this. There are people that currently identify on the left that aren't fucking crazy. There are, and it's a lot of them. They're Americans. They just got bad intel. Our job is to give them the intel. Let's read a little bit more. Quote, Trump said he would move, quote, student loans out of the Department of Education immediately, end quote, and that Loeffler and her staff are all set for it. They're waiting for it. It'll be serviced much better than it has in the past. It's been a mess. Some 8 million federal student loan borrowers are currently in legal limbo, not making loan payments because their Biden-era repayment plan was frozen by a judge for being potentially illegal. Okay? So when Biden jumped out there and was like, we're going to do this, they was doing it to curry votes in the next election. Get all of they knew that there was this 40-something million student loan motherfuckers that was going to give them the vote. But they also knew, because there's a lot of legal teams over there, they knew that it was damn near going to be pushed out in court or challenged. Just like Trump, with an executive order or an executive action, those people are going to go, we're going to challenge this. This might not go through, but they're going to challenge it. And the Biden administration era folks knew that. They was trying to curry votes. Curry goat. They was trying to curry votes. Okay? Listen to what Peely said. Most people, including myself, had no idea what the heck the Department of Education actually did. Because they damn sure ain't teaching us in the hood. I'm just on the numbers. 13% is funded. Right? 13%. There's another whole fucking 87% of the game that's local and state. But the Department of Education does not even create curriculums on a national level, even though it's a national standardized test. The curriculum is not made like a one-size-fit-all from the Department of Education. Okay? Our job is to inform the people. So they got the information so they can see when the media putting the spin on them. This ain't, listen, man, as much as I can critique Donald Trump on shit, what I will say is this is something that he said before, and this is something that I was there in DC when he said he wanted to get rid of the Department of Education. I was there. I seen it. I was right in the front row. And this is just going in that direction. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull that video up after I read this part. In a statement, Loeffler said, quote, as the government's largest guarantor of business loans, the SBA stands ready to deploy its resources and expertise on behalf of America's taxpayers and students. I want y'all to hear that. The Small Business Administration, okay, is the government's largest guarantor of business loans. They're going to restructure ways on how they're giving those loans to these young people. They're going to restructure the way how much is given to these young people. And watch them college campuses not expand so fast. I'm from Philly. North Philly, when I grew up, Temple University slowly starting. Temple is his own fucking city now. Peely from Philly. Temple was in the middle of the fucking gutter in the 90s. Right? And they just started slowly buying up more shit because the federal government, Department of Education, would back the loan. They could charge the students whatever. They took the money and they slowly started making Temple University its own city. That's what happens to college campuses and has been happening with college campuses for at least 30 years, minimum. Minimum. I'm telling y'all. Overcharge the students, get them in debt, okay? Get them in debt. They agreed to some shit. They was 18. They're stupid. That's why they have a liberal arts degree. And I get it. I'm not being rude to nobody, but come on, bro. Right? They don't know no better. They get the fucking whatever. The government pays the backdrop, and they like, all right, cool. Now you went a slave for the fucking 30 years. The play was because of the federal government. It's just like the Federal Reserve and dealing with the United States government. Yo, the Fed going when you go into a commercial bank, guys, and you say you deposit money, you deposit $1,000. Fractional reserve banking means that commercial bank can loan up to $10,000 that it does not have based on $1,000 that you gave them. You understand? So you give me $1,000 and be like, yo, Maj, I'm gonna come get like $50 every couple of weeks. All right, cool. I'm supposed to hold it. I loan everybody out $9,000 more dollars. So that's why when you come back and be like, yo, Maj, let me get 600, and be like, oh, best I could give you is 3. Because they doing fractional reserve banking, because the Federal Reserve will back that commercial bank up to, you can loan out 10-1 interest rates. It just depletes the fucking dollar. So what happens is the federal government backs 10-1. If everybody reneges on that loan, the federal government gonna print up money and give it back to secure the loan. That's the worst thing, because it's not backed by anything. So this is the same fractional reserve game that they was playing the whole time. Okay? Somebody gave $20. Who that? Who that gave a dub? New lieutenant. Appreciate you. Matter of fact, where that joint at, bro? New lieutenant says, no cap. Growing up, I thought they created those moving the goalpost standardized tests that, in my opinion, were racist in design. They do that standard test, right, to see what the national levels is, but they don't create the individual curriculum for each what's the name. Like, they don't do that part. That's the part that I'm saying. They don't do that part. All right. Scrapping Beauty says, Temple sucks. I graduated from there. Chill. Bookworm said they did the same with insurance. I'm telling y'all, it's a scam. So if the general public doesn't understand, right? And then the general public through media, through legacy media or left-leaning media, and again, this is not an attack on Americans. This is an attack on false ideology and bad intel. If the general public that went through a public school told you this stupid shit, now you pushing back against this thing. You don't even know what the Department of Education do. You don't know what their fucking budget is. You don't know that they manage a $1.6 trillion portfolio. You don't know what you know what I mean? They just package it like, yo, he trying to stop black people from learning. It's like right after y'all just said this shit is horrible. And you're not involved on a local or state level, you don't recognize that the reason why the hood shit is fucked up because the tax revenue is what goes to that. That's why in Philly, when they try to hit you with the sugar tax, it was like, yo, this is going to go back to the schools. And it never went. 5% soda tax, sugary drink tax. If we not, that's why I ran for city council. If we're not involved on a local and state level and we're not informed about this shit, it's easy. And once we get informed, because we know that we weren't informed, it's easy for the general public to get tricked. And then they go, because he racist. He don't like the black people. That's why. And it's like, nah, it's numbers. It's numbers and data beyond that. Let's read a little bit more. Again, Loeffler said, as the government's largest guarantor of business loans, the SBA stands ready to deploy its resources and expertise on behalf of America's taxpayers and students. But those resources are about to take a big hit as well, as the SBA also announced on Friday that it plans to cut its workforce by more than 40%. Don't get scared when they say shit like that, y'all. Okay? Don't get scared of that. The government is bloated. It's too much. It's the exact opposite of what the founders wanted. It's too much. Remember last year when Biden was in and he was like, yeah, we about to hire 80,000 new fucking IRS agents. Huh? The Pentagon has never passed an audit. The Federal Reserve has never been audited. But you gonna hire 80,000 motherfuckers to come see me about my Venmo transactions. That's retarded. So when they say, oh, they about to take a hit by 40%, don't get scared. They have too many jobs in the first place. These people should be local plumbers, local carpenters, local teachers, local bankers, local such and such, homeowners, this, that. Everybody can't go to the fucking NBA. And for a while, getting that government contract looked like you hit the lottery. And it's not, the job isn't even supposed to exist. You understand? It's like, yo, if you ain't make it to the NBA, you better go. If you everybody can't rap. I think Beanie Siegel said this. You better go pick up a basketball or something, right? Enjoying this. Help expand the two-way liberty movement. Guys, I need everybody. 229 of y'all in here watching. 229. Imagine if everybody that's 229 gave $100. You'd get access to the Solutionary 9 membership, shooting drills, workout routines, meal plan. If you don't know your fucking macros or don't even know, show of hands. Comment in the section if you know what macros are and if you know your macros. Okay? If you don't know these things, we have a program for you. So you can shoot better, you can learn civics. These are the types of conversations that we have in our private solutionary group, along with the classes and curriculums. Instead of spending $20 for one class and taking the one class one time, donate $99. You still helping us with the building fund. Don't even buy it directly off the website. Donate it, right? I'm gonna email you the classes and the access to everything, and you can help. If you're getting some value from this content, I heard Peely say, I didn't even know what the department, and Peely my man, so I'm not saying this like in a funny way, right? I didn't even know what the Department of Education. I promise y'all, most people don't know that the Department of Education is responsible for the students. I promise y'all that most people don't know that shit. I promise y'all. It's not told to us that way. It's these things are used kind of secretly. They say they use them as a boogeyman here, but they kind of secretly don't tell you what they really do. You know what I'm saying? It's what it is. I'm gonna speak on it. Says absolutely too damn much. Thomas Harrison said, I got into an argument with some white woman who had a master's degree in African studies. What the fuck? Africa's a continent made of 50 some odd countries, right? You gotta be like, yo, what country in Africa? Like when I be like, people be like, yo, Maj, you went to Africa? Yeah. I went to Africa 3 times. Which country you want to tell me about my experience? Ghana? Egypt? Uh, 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 Senegal? I was a teenager. Like, what do you want me to, which one? Okay. New lieutenant says, I have no idea how to calculate them. I do try to keep my protein intake high, though, and my carbs low. Listen, y'all. This is why I'm telling y'all to donate. I could sell the program. All right. And that'll be a separate money, not associated with. I could just sell y'all the program. You could go on solutionaryuniversity.org and just buy the program. That's cool. Or you could donate it to other people, help them, and I still give you the access. We get 2 for 1. It's 232 folks in here, guys. Support it. Support. Let me put that back on the screen real quick. If you're enjoying this, help do our work. We're trying to buy the building. Our next benchmark, we need 72 donors at the $100 level. Every one of you 72 that donate at that level, you're going to get access. All right? So I'm going to do that 1 or 2 more times as the rest of the show for tonight. But I'll make sure that, I'm going to leave that up for a minute. So don't be afraid when they say, oh, they're going to cut the workforce by 40%. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? The rumor and the story goes, he was like, yo, why do we need all of this? And it was like, no, Elon, you got to keep this. You got to keep that. You got to keep this. We need these servers. We need this. We need that. That's what they told him. Elon cut 60% of the servers and fired like 60% of the staff. And X has been moving along just fine. You had too much bloat. It's like, it's the same play. They run the same play all the time. Right? It's the overdo it, then say we need it, and then nobody challenges it, and everybody just accepts it until somebody come through and be like, yo, man, get this shit out of here. We don't need all this. Now, you do think you need all of that. If you want to continue to conquest and be an empire and be the world's police, I think that most Americans are tired of the endless warmongering, tired of the endless fighting, tired of just being like a bitch to the military industrial complex. All of this is connected. Okay? Brilliance Wentz says, how is forgiving overpriced student debt going to inflate the economy? It would deflate private stake owners. That's not what this conversation is about. It's not. And that's not what they said they're going to do. They didn't say they're going to just forgive the overpriced student debt, or they said they're going to get the SBA involved and they're going to restructure how they do it. You might have just tapped in. I did read that in a second. So you might have tapped in. You might have just tapped. Read a little bit more, all right? Multiple sources at FSA who could not speak publicly for fear of retribution. This is a left-leaning paper, by the way. I just want y'all to know that. For fear of retribution, said they were blindsided by the news. Logistical challenges aside, the role of the Office of Federal Student Aid as the administrator of the student loan portfolio is protected by law. Remember how I said some of that going to get challenged in court? It's all going to get challenged. In my opinion, every executive order and action should have some form of challenge to make sure that the president or the executive branch is not moving unilaterally. Okay? I'm not a fan of executive orders and actions, even when I agree with the outcome. Okay? Just having executive actions and a president going, I'm just going to rule by decree. No, I'm not a fan of that. Even for the shit that I agree with. I don't think that it should be a Department of Education. I think that most people should fucking homeschool. Okay? But anyway, logistical challenges aside, the role of the Office of Federal Student Aid as the administrator of the student loan portfolio is protected by law. It's not clear how these responsibilities could be legally moved without a vote of Congress. That's a key. And if Congress be like, look, we agree. Republicans got the House, the Senate now, and the executive. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had the House. I'm saying right of center. I'm a libertarian. I'm saying people that are right of center because I'm definitely not a Democrat. Okay? The right of center or the GOP has had the House, the Senate, and the executive branch before, and nothing meaningful happened. So even that doesn't mean, because sometimes Republicans, knowing that it's going to be a close vote, will wheel and deal with the Democrats to get their own interest involved and say, fuck the overall plan. Right? Sometimes that happens. And I don't mean saying no on principle like Thomas Massey. This is going to increase spending. No, I don't mean that. Some Republicans will be like, yo, Democrats, I'm the last vote. Come holler at me. What can you give me my constituents? They'll play fast and loose with the American future and finance for their personal benefit. That happens. In a statement, the White House press secretary Carolyn Leavitt acknowledged, quote, the president has always said Congress has a role to play in this effort, and we expect them to help the president deliver. I'm telling y'all, I'm not mad at a challenge, but if Republicans is like, yeah, this shit need to go. This ties right into Trump's broader agenda of reducing federal bureaucracy. It does. It does. Matter of fact, before we even move forward, let me play this for y'all real quick. Because I know some people be acting like the shit that I'm saying, you know what I mean? Let me play this for y'all real quick.
Department of Education and give it back to the states and local governments. I will return
Let's run it back
to the state our out-of-control federal Department of Education and give it back to the states and local governments. I will return power to the states, local governments, and to the American people. I am a believer.
I'm telling you. I mean, let's play it again.
Believer in the 10th Amendment.
I am a believer in the 10th Amendment.
And to the American people. I am a believer in the 10th Amendment.
I was there, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, that sound cool. Listen, what'd that say? Libertarian National Convention 2024. It was in D.C. I was right there. I was in the front row. And I was like, that's a tall order. Whatever libertarians he listening to, Angela McCardle, right? Whatever ones he listening to, if they could pull this off, Even a free Ross, I was like, he could get Ross out once even the president just give him a presidential pardon. And he did. Listen, I'm always going to be objective with Trump. I'm with any politician. I think Trump just says something about the death penalty for anybody that kills a cop or shoots a cop or something like that. I want Trump to keep that same energy for any cop that unjustifiably kills an American. We got to keep it balanced. We got to keep it balanced. So I'll be critical of him on all of these things. But when somebody gets some shit right, you get it right. It is what it is. There's in no way, shape, or form, you know, there should be no argument around this. Any arguments that you see are low key like, why are you even saying that? Any arguments that you hear should be like, this person doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. And not a diss. The biggest thing that I want y'all to understand, solutionaries, this ain't about dissing people. This is about presenting the information. Okay? And when you present the information properly and the general public understands it and they go, oh, okay, you get more people on board for this liberty train because all of this is connected. There cannot be endless wars if there's not endless money printing. If there's endless money printing and money's just missing, again, the Pentagon has never passed an audit. Never. The Federal Reserve has never been audited. Ever. They're not a federal government at all. It's a private banking institution. The opposite of what the Founding Fathers said. The Founding Fathers said, do not centralize the money supply. Don't do it. And they did it. Anyway, when you're unceasingly printing up money, when you can unceasingly print up money and then hide money and, oh, we made a mistake and sent the extra $3 billion to Ukraine. This is stuff that was said and done. Now you continue to get endless wars and you continue to feed the military industrial complex. The best way to rein this in is by the purse strings. Stop letting the money just go everywhere. If this means that some Americans have to generate a business instead of going to college and hiding and never getting in the career life because they're lifetime students for some dumbass major and minor, then so be it. There are too many things that are happening that should never have been happening in the first place. It's like the subprime mortgage era. So many people that had mortgages were not financially solvent enough to do that. And the banks and the lenders knew that. This is the same thing. After a certain while, you got to retract. And when that retraction comes or that contraction happens, when people are like, oh, it's so bad now. No, you just had it so wild. Everything, when somebody's not used to a certain level of standards, any rule looks like oppression. But when this long term starts to be more beneficial for young people's education and information, then when the states are the only bodies involved, like Scrap and Beauty just said, every state has different needs for their students. All right, they're going to run into legal challenges. They're going to run into this definition of special needs. I want to touch on this for a minute, and then we're going to wrap up, solutionaries. Changes to oversight of special needs remain unclear. After announcing these potential changes to the federal student loan portfolio, Trump then said, quote, Bobby Kennedy, the Health and Human Services Secretary, will be handling special needs, referring to Cabinet member Robert F. Kennedy. This appears to be a reference to the federal law known as the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, which the Education Department administers. The law guarantees students with disabilities the right to a free, appropriate education, and in 2024 sent roughly $15 billion to schools to help pay for special education services. The law also makes clear that it is the Secretary of Education's responsibility to administer these funds. Okay? The Education Department has a dedicated Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services. My point is, he's trying to figure out ways to maneuver to make this happen within the legal confines of the law while slashing a whole department over time. Okay? We don't want to overdo the reading of this. I'm just telling y'all, they're going to get pushback. So if you can put certain ducks in a row and say, this person is going to handle this person is going to handle that, and we could get rid of this whole department. Okay? If we don't start this, because I would love to see an audit of the Pentagon. I would love to see an audit of the Federal Reserve. If not the Federal Reserve being dissolved next. All I'm telling y'all is the Overton window is shifting and it's going back to limited government. States are fine. I don't think the FBI, the CIA, as the RFK files come out fully 8,000, unless if you believe that, but whatever. The CIA is all over that. But we knew that. The CIA, the FBI, the ATF, the NSA, they should all fucking go. They should all go. Why can't there's nothing that local and state police communicating with each other can't do. This is not complicated. So my point in saying this is if we're going in that direction and that Overton window is shifting, it's important that we know these things as solutionaries because the next step to this is now divide Americans. Some people are repeating stories because they don't know the information. Your job as a solutionary is to have the information, make it palpable for them to understand and not antagonize people just because they're on the other side of the aisle. And I'm not talking about the crazy spray paint on the swastikas on the Cybertruck Tesla people. I'm talking about your average everyday American in a big city, a left-leaning city. If you are friends with them, if they are family members, and if these types of things come up, there's a way to approach this and communicate very effectively and say, well, you know, the Department of Education is only responsible for X, Y, and Z, and da da da. And my concern is, you know, maybe we can get some of the parents and the students and the teachers locally to be more empowered by this. There's a way to communicate these things to the best of your ability, but just having the information, and that's my job, to give you all the information, give slight breakdowns, and to continue to distill it. But anyway, guys, I think that's a cool spot to wrap up for tonight. I appreciate you guys. Everybody that gave super chats, please, and thank you so much for doing so. I want to make sure that you guys are understanding. The 243 of you watching this right now across whatever platforms. Please share the space all over the place when we save it. Okay? Please do so. It costs you nothing to do so. And I'm asking you guys, if you all got some benefit or some value from tonight's conversation, even talking points, that's gonna be very powerful in a little bit. The person like yourself that can communicate effectively and shift narratives and help people have mindset shifts, that's some of the most powerful things in the world. So if you got some value from that tonight, please, guys, I'm trapped in the RV fundraising. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Every donor over the $100 level. If we can get 10 folks to give $100, that's $1,000. It's $1,000 that goes towards our buying our building. And yes, the Solutionary Center already exists. This ain't no like church building fund that you nobody ever seen the building. Peely's taking classes in the building. We've been in that building for two and a half, maybe 3 years. Okay. My point is, you guys can help with this work. The reason why I'm able to give you guys this type of content is because you guys are supporting, buying merch, right? Black, like this shirt right here, anti gun club. Support, guys, support. Go over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. I'm going to try to find that link again. Bookworm had put it up here earlier, but I'm going to try to find it again real quick. Here it is. Right there, givesendgo.com/solutionary. If you're watching this on X, it's my pinned post right up at the top. Please, guys, support the work. If we can get 10 folks, there's 241 folks in here. All I ask is 10 of you guys to just commit to $100, $99, whatever. In doing so, you get a membership to all of the classes, the Solutionary 9. Firearms Basics, online. You structure these classes and schedule them whenever you want. Firearms Basics, Understanding Imminent Threat. Civics, you get curriculums for all of them. Comes right to your email. Meal plans, workout routines, shooting drills, access to the Solutionary 9. Okay? All of those things happened. And that's Solutionary 9 is a private group. There's thousands of solutionaries across the country just networking in there and helping each other and shaping philosophical conversations and helping each other with talking points. You get all of those things. You could just buy it off of solutionaryuniversity.org. I do not want you to do it that way. I would rather you donate. Go to givesendgo.com/solutionary. We just need 10 people to do this. 10 people that want workout routines, 10 people that want to get in the gym, 10 people that want me to come up with their macros for them, 10 people that want to shoot better, 10 people that want to learn about civics. Those are the people that we need to support, and we need everybody, really. We need 72 more $100 donors to hit our next benchmark. And if 10 do it tonight, that would be awesome. So, anyway, guys, link is there, givesendgo.com/solutionary. I am Maj Toure, the founder of Solutionary University. Thank you all for tapping into the Maj Toure Show. I will see y'all Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Be safe, be solutionary.